Well. Hey, Alan.
Hey, Brandon.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome to CAPECAST, Alan. Doing okay tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good.
Things got a little crazy here pre-show. I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
just sitting here alone again.
I bet that was extremely awkward.
It's okay. I'm used to it at this point. Ryan is not with us. He's dead. No, he's
to us.
yeah, he's dead to us. I don't know what's going on with Ryan. He's got some stuff going on with his house that's keeping him from being able to jump on some remodeling or something going on. So we wish him the best with all those endeavors. Hopefully he gets all that fixed and he can jump back on soon. So saying that, Alan, since we didn't get to chat before we jumped on because we were running behind, if you could just monitor them comments as they come in.
I got you, dude. Speaking of, they already coming in.
There they are.
G's in the house.
What's up, Nani? How are you?
Hey, Nani.
But yes, so Alan and I are going to hold the fort down tonight. We apologize. We missed last week. Life just finds a way, as they say, to just derail things. And we weren't able to record CAPECAST or CinemaChINE. It was a heck of a week. So, but we're back. We're recovered, and we're about 75%, 80%.
Yeah, there we go.
I wouldn't say 100%. We're not there, but we're getting there. But before we get started, we'll get the usual little tags out of the way. Follow us at cinemachinepod.com. Find links to YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon. As far as social media with CAPECAST, you can follow us at CAPECAST Show on Twitter. That's where we're going to be the most active. So yeah, that is that. Appreciate anybody that does subscribe and all our patrons out there. Appreciate that. And share it with your friends. We love to have them in here, especially when we do this live so we can get the convo going with you guys. So, but yeah, we've missed kind of 2 weeks of news. So I actually had to cut a few things because it kind of piled up. So some of the things that we would have talked about, I was like, we can skip that. It's not as important anymore. So, but yeah, let's. You know what's funny, Alan, is I made I typically make a PDF of all our show notes. And right now what I'm doing is stalling because I forgot to upload said PDF. So I'm taking out my external live on the air. You see, it's better when you make note of it while you're doing it so that it's even more awkward because that's what I'm doing now. But I'll get it.
Okay, it's all right. Well, cool.
But anyway, in the meantime, why don't you tell me because you were supposed to go to a comic book store.
Yeah, today, I actually went to a couple of places. I had mentioned that to you that I was going to a brewery here in Anderson, Magnetic South. They're actually expanding. They're going to open up one in Clemson and in Greenville, so like the southeast area, the Tri-County area, I guess you'd say, for South Carolina, Anderson, Greenville, Spartanburg. And they did a comic book swap meet. So I went and hung out there for a while, met the owner, I think the bar manager and the kitchen manager, and hung out with those guys for a while. Got a cool hat.
I see
Magnetic South. I told them I'd rep them on the show tonight.
Might get a look at it. There you go. Magnetic South.
Might possibly have our first sponsor.
Oh yeah.
I plugged some SOS while I was there, and might have a show for those guys.
Nice. Speaking of, Alan, I got to see you this weekend.
I know. It was a rare treat.
Yeah, in person.
Sure. I know. And the thing is, we live 45 minutes away. It's a shame we don't see each other more. But
this is true. But maybe we'll be able. We're going to try and coordinate some Doctor Strange. So hopefully that works out. We have our tickets. So unless some act of God comes through and we're not able to redeem those tickets, then it'll all work out, and I'll get to see you again next week.
I know.
Unlike, I'm sure a lot of people are seeing it tomorrow night. This weekend is just.
I know. So I was going to say, Nani's probably going to be there this weekend. So I'm blocking all sorts of hashtags right now.
I know. I've got to. If you want to do that on the CAPECAST profile, feel free. Okay. Just start blocking everything and anything you can that has to do with Marvel and Doctor Strange and characters that you think, even characters you may not even think will show up, like Batman and things like that. Like just to be safe.
I did see where somebody said something about, spoiler alert, you need to see the Batman before you go see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
One of the I guess tweets that I saw, I think it was Lay Cinephiles, said consensus from the critic community is that Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is the best Marvel movie since No Way Home. I was like, yeah.
Well, that's per the use. There we go.
Yeah. So did you get some good stuff? The comic swap?
The thing I did, and I ran up here in such a hurry because I, for some reason, forgot we started at 9, that I left it all downstairs.
Yeah. It's been a couple of weeks, so
yeah, I'm a little off my game. I was too busy. I wore my shirt, plugged the show.
Do you have your screwball?
Dude, I am out of screwball, so I'm all out. Everything's all out of whack right now. Like, I don't know what's going on. But they're potentially wanting us to do a live stream from Magnetic South at some point in time. They were all about it. They were all about some CAPECAST.
All right, so, well, that's interesting. We'll see how that goes. A live show, that could be fun. All right. Well, good news is I got the PDF uploaded.
All right.
So we're ready to roll now. So thanks for helping me stall.
You got.
I think it went pretty good. I don't think anybody noticed.
No. So I don't think Nani noticed.
Yeah. Cool. All right then. Well, CinemaCon happened last week. Actually, it kind of the news that we're going to talk about dropped the night that we would have recorded. Some of it, at least the DC stuff. So, but one of the things we're going to just briefly touch upon some of this stuff. And this first one is I guess it's a no-brainer in terms of the news. It was expected, but Matt Reeves was at CinemaCon and announced that the Batman 2, tentatively titled, is in the works. Shocker? Anybody shocked? You shocked, Alan?
I am.
Your mouth is on the floor.
Floored. I am floored.
Yeah. But yeah, so Batman 2 is coming in the next 10, 15 years. So
yeah, that's what I was fixing to say. Barring another, barring we don't have another pandemic,
Well, not even that. Just how slow it seemed to take Matt Reeves to finish writing the first movie, and then obviously, yes, production was a little bit of a It kind of threw a wrench into things with COVID, but yeah.
Dave snuck in there. I didn't see him. What's up, man?
How's it going? But yeah. So any thoughts other than shocker?
It's like you and I talked about after I finally watched the movie. I liked it. Yeah, it was a good movie. It wasn't as good as I hoped it would have been. So, but there's still hope. I'm still a huge Matt Reeves fan. So,
yeah,
I have faith that he'll deliver another, at least pretty good movie. So there we
go. Faith, Alfred. Faith.
You can't use that when you're talking about
it. I know. Well, Alfred, your Alan is.
It's okay. I know where you were going. I love you, man, and it's okay.
I know. Okay.
Too soon.
I know. All right. Well, that's cool. Hopefully, like I said, I have my own personal little hangups with the movie, but I'm interested to see what they do next. If he can get a better suit, that would do wonders for me.
And I feel like it's got to be coming. You know what I mean? Like it's year 2. They've beat that dead horse too. This is not his final suit. So
yeah. Cool. All right. So I guess next on the list, we got some Flash footage that was presented. And I'm not really going to go into what was actually like, I guess, there's talk of multiple like bat bikes, I think. No, bat suits, multiple bat suits. There's somebody had mentioned that there was a Keaton was on the bat bike of Nolan's universe. Maybe they misspoke. I don't know if that's the case or not. I mean, I guess it could be.
It wouldn't, honest to God, it would not surprise me at this point if that's what we saw.
Yeah. I mean, that was what they said. A lot of people assumed that they meant, because we know we've seen the set photos from like the outdoor production of the stunt.
Yeah, with Affleck's,
with
Batfleck.
Yeah, so
yeah.
That could be because that bike does look similar to the Bat Pod, I guess it's called. Now the thing that kind of irked me a little bit is kind of the thing that I think Ryan also texted in the CAPECAST text thread, which was the "you want to get nuts, let's get nuts" line that seemed to be like the stinger of the trailer. This is kind of my fear with this project, is that it's gonna be that line is famous kind of ironically almost, and it's not famous within that universe. That it's one of those things where I don't know why he would say it again. Like it's such an obvious like fan thing to do instead of an actual like thing that he would say that would be important to him. Like I just don't see that being the case.
It's not
that line.
I don't think it's the Tim Burton Batman catchphrase. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's what he walks around saying to all the villains that he's fighting or anything. It wasn't even a Batman line. It was a Bruce Wayne line.
The Bruce line.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know.
Here's the thing.
I love fan service. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home was slap full of it. And,
exactly.
But it was done in a different way.
If it's done organically and not forced, that's it can go either way. Now I could see this if it's not like him looking at the camera, like, you want to get nuts, let's get nuts, like that kind of thing. if it's more subtle, not played for like wink wink nod nod type thing, even though it's probably going to be the case. I could see it, even though I don't think it's said in the description that it was a shared. Like I could see him saying, either him or Ezra saying, "You want to get nuts," and the other one finish, "Let's get nuts," kind of thing. I could see that if they do it right, to where it's not like, I don't know. I'm trying to like be optimistic about it, but at the end of the day, I'm not that excited about that being in there personally.
Yeah, I'm not either. But like you said though, I could see it being done the right way if Ezra's involved in the sequence of the lines, because I will say that he brought levity to both of the movies, Justice League and ZSJL. Some of the Justice League stuff really sucked, but some of it, most of it was stuff that Zach had already written and was in there, or it was already in Zach's movie. So it wasn't that big a deal. But but I did like his comic relief side, even in ZSJL. So I think if he's involved in the delivery, maybe it would work a little better.
Right. We shall see. So there's also, Supergirl featured in the trailer, which we've seen, with that teaser, we've seen her from the film, so that's not necessarily a surprise. But I guess the thing that everybody was talking about was that line, and that's kind of a good indication for me of the things that make a lot of people excited about things that don't make me excited, that like makes me worried, is kind of telling for me. unfortunately, which makes me like a little bit even. I'm like, gosh, everybody loves this stuff. I am not as excited about it, and it makes me depressed for the future because, like
I
we've said
know.
before, I think Snyder has ruined movies for me going forward in a good way in terms of loving his stuff too much and not
Oh yeah,
finding that in other projects.
yeah. I
Dave
think.
says, I'm hoping we get a big surprise and see Henry Cavill. I do too. It seems like there's rumors that you'll see him like on a TV screen,
Mhm.
but maybe not actually Henry. Maybe he'll be headless again from Shazam. I don't know. I hope that we see him. I just, it's one of those things. Keep your expectations in check. I'm basically just saying that for myself
Yeah.
because I fear the worst and hope for the best, and I just have to take that stance and stay that way. I guess it just hurts less in the end. So, all right. Let's see, and then after the Flash, we got some Aquaman footage, kind of another like sizzle reel type thing, like they showed at DC Fandom, which feels like forever ago at this point. I get, and then so it seemed to be very Orm and Arthur centric. And I guess the big thing that was reported from this is that Amber Heard is reportedly not necessarily from this footage, but the report that she's like in maybe 10 minutes of the film, based on current events. But so that was the big takeaway. But as far as I know that Juan is kind of a seems like another behind the scenes type thing that they did.
Yeah.
And he was talking about kind of some of the cinematography they're using, like 100 cameras to capture like every angle to create some sort of 3D image. I don't know if that's like Matrixy in terms of like how they use bullet time type effects, but I know that I think you kind of hold this one a little higher than I do in terms of your ranking amongst these projects. What's your kind of vibe? I know that we haven't really seen
Well,
footage,
yeah,
but
and that's the thing. It's kind of hard to tell. And it's not just footage; it's tone. Because footage-wise, Aquaman was spectacular. You know what I mean?
That was definitely a strong
it really
suit.
was. But and like I said, it's the first Aquaman for me. Now, Mandy, if you ask her, it's right up there with ZSJL for her. But it's just Momoa. I think if it were anybody else, I don't think she'd feel that way. But for me, you have Zach's stuff, Wonder Woman, and then I actually have like the Suicide Squad. So out of the DCEU, it's like number 6 for me. So it's in there. It's just
and I enjoy it.
Middle of the road.
I just have an issue with the humor in it, and when it's quoted in this feature that they put out at CinemaCon that Juan was quoted as saying the movie's amazing, funny, and heartfelt. The funny part, again, like I'm not like allergic to funny. I just want it to be organic. And the last movie, its funniness was not organic to me, and it was very undermining of everything that was going on to me.
Yeah.
And that's just what I don't want. I want it to be natural. Shazam's humor.
Mm-hmm.
It made sense like throughout. Made sense. It's a different kind of character though. It kind of is ripe for that kind of humor. So not to say that Aquaman can't be funnier and people can't be funny around him. It's just I mean, don't use it to like undermine dramatic moments, especially.
Yeah, Momoa's a naturally funny guy. Like, I mean, I think given the right circumstances, I think he could pull it off nicely. I just think that most of the humor that they used really took away from some really cool parts of the movie. So it just didn't work for me.
I agree.
And Dave actually had one quick question. I know we don't talk about it too much, but you think that I personally don't believe that they'll remove her because it's too late. I mean, the movie's basically already been filmed. But from what we've heard, Brandon touched on it earlier. there's possibly 10 minutes of her in the movie. It's more of like a
Rumored,
buddy
yeah. I mean, we
cop.
don't know. We'll
I've seen I've heard people say, you know, the buddy cop feel with Orm and Aquaman. So that would be fine with me.
I mean, so I don't know. I mean, not to get too deep in the woods, because a lot of this is just kind of rumor and hearsay.
Yeah.
I think I read or heard somewhere that it was like it's a pretty like I don't want to use the word toxic, but kind of like a uncomfortable scenario with her on the set. Like it's not like they wanted her back, or maybe even wanted her for the first movie. Like it seemed like Johnny Depp even said in the
hearsay.
Hearsay. Objection, hearsay. It seemed like based on the trial that he got her this role. He used his career as like
he
a favor,
kind of pushed her along,
and got her the role in Mirror. Because somebody else even said that because they're like, well, Zach Caster, and somebody said, well, I don't know if Zach actually had a say in that. So it seemed like it could have been a situation where she was put upon the project, and she's obviously got her own bag of issues. So I don't know. I mean, all that we'll see. That trial's still going, and we typically don't report on any of this kind of stuff because it's just it's all he said, she said type of stuff anyway. And so,
like I said, I just feel like, especially with this movie, I don't see them removing her because it's already done. You know, it's already in post. You know, I know that it's happened occasionally. I know Zach did it with Army of the Dead, but that was not in post-production. Like, I mean, this was, you know, there was still a lot of editing to be done when he made the switch. So it's a whole different.
I don't know. They were in post-production, I think, when
I know, but I think they were still early on in the editing part of post-production.
I think that's kind of where they are with Aquaman.
Oh, I thought they were pretty far into it with it coming out in a few months.
They're far into it in terms of production is over. Principal photography is over. I don't know if I assume they've already kind of finished any kind of pickups that were scheduled. But a movie like this has such a long post-production process with visual effects.
That's true.
That's true. I mean, there would still be time to do something similar if they chose to. I
hope they don't. I would just rather let's do something else. Let's pull a roadie and fix it on the next movie. You know,
here's the thing, man. I mean, she was pretty bad in Aquaman, but I liked her in ZSJL. Like,
I did too.
The different accent. She didn't have the really terrible wig. She wasn't eating flowers and playing the flute or whatever she was doing. So, you know.
I agree.
I know that's not going to be the case with Aquaman 2, even if however much she's in it. But
that's my thing. I mean, no matter what, what is said, regardless of the trial, I didn't mind her as Mira. You know what I mean? I thought she was pretty decent casting. I just, I don't know.
A lot better in that one for sure.
Yeah. Oh, show.
And, but that's also that the tone of that character appealed to my sensibilities a lot more than was presented in Aquaman, but that's just me. Okay. So, and then, we had some Black Adam footage. And I don't know. This is another one of those long gestating projects that is finally coming out. We kind of touch upon here and there. This is another one that they've been touting the kind of the cinematography of it all with some high frame rate cameras and and then the supporting cast. We saw the Worlds of DC footage that's already came out showing Adam Smasher and Dr. Fate and who else is in there?
Hawkman.
I saw the JSA characters.
I'm
really excited about Pierce Brosnan because I just love Pierce Brosnan. I mean, people seemed pretty pretty high on it, but then not too long ago we heard that they were in pickup reshoot phase because maybe the screening that they didn't test as well.
Yeah, what's the actor that's playing Hawkman? I can't think of his name right offhand, but I saw some photos of him on Twitter that suggested that he was in Atlanta right now doing some reshoots.
So. Wasn't he in Atlanta with Zachary Levi at Topgolf?
Yes,
we reported on that a while back.
Yes,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would. Here's the thing with Black Adam. I would love to see. Obviously, would love to see Cavill crossover with this character. I think The Rock wants that to happen. I'm sure Cavill wants that to happen. I just feel like WB is gonna distance themselves from Cavill any way they can until basically to me until Emmerich's out of there. But that could just be, I don't know. That's just my vibe that I get. So I don't know. Maybe we will see him in Flash, and maybe we'll see him in Black Adam. We'll see. I mean, it just seems like the logical thing to do. But when you hear like David F. Sandberg talk about the projects and how they are very much more connected than any of the other DCEU projects, but he doesn't really know anything, and he could be just saying that, but it seems like he's being honest when he says he doesn't know what they're doing, like as far as how and when and if any kind of Shazam crossover and that kind of thing would go down. So I don't know. But yeah. And then, we also, speaking of Shazam, they did tease some more Shazam. I think they actually had a trailer, if I'm not mistaken. And I know that that Sandberg was saying he didn't know when it was going to be released, because the other bit of news that came from this is that they did change the release date. Instead of it opening up against Avatar, what is it called now? Something about water. They released the title of that.
Yeah.
And Avatar 2, The Way of Water.
The Way of Water. I was like, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's coming out like a week later now. Avatar comes out December 16th, and Shazam 2 is going to be December 21st.
It's the week of Christmas. Yeah.
So yeah. And cool. It would have been nice for the first movie to be released.
I know. That's right. I mean, he's actually poked fun at that as well. The summertime movies coming out at Christmas, and the Christmas movie came out in summertime.
Yeah. Poor David. Yeah, I mean, I love David F. Sandberg. Just as a personality, he's the director that jives with my kind of comedy sensibilities. Like, the guy's a hilarious follow if you don't follow him. We talk about that a lot, but definitely do that if you're not already doing it. But yeah, and then I love Shazam. I think it's a great movie, and it's one of those movies that it's the best of both worlds. It's got like all those great superhero cinematic moments, but also really great levity, and it feels like like an Emblem type 80s movie at times. Yeah. The kid element definitely gives it that feel for sure. Very well cast throughout. Casting kids is always tough, and I think they did a great job with that one across the board. And then it's just it's it's also like the horror sensibilities. Like, it's scary, but not like too scary to me to show your kids. I know everybody's mileage may vary with that depending on your kid, but it will scare them. But I don't think it's going to be like, it'll be where they'll like cover partial, like a little bit of their eye. They'll still want to watch.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, Cal loves that stuff, loves the creepy stuff, so it appealed to him. But it's still like that night, the first time I think when we went and saw it in theaters, he just was talking about it. We actually went and bought some of the figures, and he each one of the adult versions of the kids, in their Shazam form or whatever, the Shazam family form, they came with like one of the 7 Deadly Sins, like little mini figures with it, you know. So he had so much fun playing with those that night, but then when it got time for bed, he didn't want to cut that light off, you know, like it really got to him there at the end. Yeah, like he acted like it was so cool, and then it terrified him. But no, we've that's probably one of the most rewatched DC EU movies that we own, I guess.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, it's super rewatchable, and you can just put, it's a good, it also falls into the like good background movie just to put on. Yeah, I mean, this one seems like it's gonna be the scope of it is gonna open up a lot more. Seems like they're gonna go to a bunch of different locations and more fantastical locations. And there's gonna be like dragons and all kinds of crazy stuff. So and I think Lucy Liu is in this one, Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else is Sinbad really in this, or was that a joke? Do you remember?
I'm not. I think that may have been a joke. I think that was kind of a play on the whole, Shazam.
Right, but I hope he's in it because I love Sinbad. Yeah, and I would love to see him in something again. Last thing I saw him in.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that rabbit hole, because I remember that freaking movie, man. And I'll turn into.
Think you do?
I'll turn into major conspiracy theorist here. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But no, Jingle All the Way is like one of my favorite movies.
So. Yeah. Well, I used to watch his comedy special. I don't remember the name of it, but I know he came out to Son of a Preacher Man, and I remember that distinctly. And I used to just like recite bits from that all the time, especially the skiing bit. I used to do that so many times.
I love this character in Good Burger, the teacher in Good Burger. I like doing that.
Well, last thing I saw him in was Always Sunny. He was in like an insane asylum with Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20. But yeah, I hope he's in it. I hope it's not just
that would be a cool little nod for sure.
Sam, I feel like there's a good chance he'll be.
That would be awesome.
All right,
if you're watching, make it happen.
Yeah, you already made it happen. We know. We believe in you. I don't have a ton to say about this, but it was reported that Batwoman and Legends of Tomorrow were canceled. I didn't watch either of these shows, so I can't really. I'm maybe part of the problem as far as why they're canceled.
That's what I was going to say. No wonder he had canceled.
All these CW shows just don't. Yeah, they don't do it for me. I've tried. Some of them,
Legends of Tomorrow was. It had that whole. I don't know, self-deprecating, like it knew what it was. So that was one of them that I actually enjoyed. Batwoman, that show never had legs to begin with. And then with Ruby Rose bailing out after the first season, and it just, I don't know, it just never connected with me. And I mean, you know me, I'll watch pretty much anything.
Watch everything.
So, yeah, and I have not watched that, but Legends of Tomorrow was fun. I mean, it was a fun show. It was something I could watch with Cal, which can't even be said with some of the CW stuff. So
yeah, I mean, Legends of Tomorrow had like 6 seasons or something, so it had a decent little run.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
I thought it was just going to be a little short spin-off miniseries type thing when they announced it.
I'm telling you, it ended up being it. To me, they should have stopped The Flash 2 years ago and kept.
How many seasons is it up to at this point?
Season 8, I think. Season 9, I think that may be the last. They're contemplating canceling it as well. Like, I think the Arrowverse is on the way out the door.
Yeah.
So, but I think that Superman and Lois, I think that one's going to stick around for a while. Actually, it's not CWE, like it's a different, it's got a whole different feel to it.
Well, it seems like those CW shows, go on, like what Supernatural had like 14, 15 seasons or something.
Mm-hmm. And I did watch all of those. So
yeah, that's a
but
lot.
I think it was, well, I think for me with Supernatural, it was more just, I've been with them this long. I might as well ride it on out. You know, like kind of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I guess, you know, but.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I mean, if you were into those shows, sorry, they are no longer around. RIP, I guess. All right. So then, I guess yesterday or Sunday, it may have been, Jay Oliva was online just posting a bunch of like portfolio stuff from different projects he was worked on. And one of them in particular kind of caught the eye of many folk in the Snyder community specifically. And that was this storyboard right here from Ben Affleck's abandoned Batman movie with Deathstroke. We all cried. Yeah. It's funny how a lot of this stuff is starting to come out with, like, you know, the concept artists putting out stuff that he had worked on. I know Jay Oliva was quoted that, you know, this was the best Batman script he'd ever read, and lots of that kind of stuff. It could be hyperbole, but I like to believe him. But yeah, cool little concept art. See the Batman reflection in the blade there.
Yeah, I did. Was it a recent interview with Joe? Brandon, help me with the pronunciation of his last name. Manganiello.
I think
I had it right. Okay,
you shouldn't ask me for pronunciation. You should know better than that.
I know, but Ryan's not here. He can't make fun of. He can't hurt you.
Ryan's the one that can read.
But there was I did see a little interview, and he talked about how the script was similar to the game, and how Batman had met his match and all this. Like, I was just like, oh my God, this sounds so freaking awesome. I wish we could have gotten this.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And one of the interesting things about this post was he used the hashtag internet not ready for this post specifically. So maybe he's going to be putting out more stuff from it. We'll see. I still hope that maybe one day we'll be able to see this in some shape or form. Obviously, I would love to see it in a, you know, film or a series. I know a lot of people are campaigning for a series.
Dave's saying, you know, hopefully we'll get a Batfleck Solid movie or a miniseries.
That would be great. A miniseries would be fantastic. I definitely prefer the long form. So
I think so.
We shall see, but it was cool. There were some other cool things that he posted. So if you haven't checked those out, there's some Man of Steel stuff, some ZSGL.
The Man of Steel storyboard shot of when Supes kind of levitates off the ground to go towards Zod. There, you know, that was I'd love to have that in a frame somewhere.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I didn't make a graphic for this one because it just dropped like right before we started, but we can touch upon it if you want to.
Okay.
Viola Davis is apparently in talks to star in a Peacemaker Amanda Waller spinoff.
Yeah, I would qualify that as a Suicide Squad the Suicide Squad spinoff, not really a Peacemaker.
Well, yeah,
spinoff.
I mean it is, but that's what
that's what they're calling it. Yeah, I saw the article as well, and I'm fine with that. I think she is one of the best casting choices of the DCEU, and
yeah, she's great in the role.
I mean, even in the Suicide Squad, I know some people have their issues with her in that, but I thought she was even more ruthless in that than she was in David Ayer version. So,
yeah, well, you can't say David Ayer version, really, can you? Because we haven't seen
his version. You're right. So
anyway,
the James Gunn's full vision that we did see.
Yeah.
She was pretty cutthroat in that. I was.
It's
pretty
just
impressed.
great. I love how they're just giving James Gunn carte blanche and letting him do anything and everything he wants to do. He's like the Oprah of you know, the DCU. Just like, you get a spinoff and you get a spinoff, and he just gets to do what he wants. That's great. Good for him. I mean, I seriously mean that. It's good for him. I wish it was some a director that I lined up with more when it comes to sensibilities. I think he's great visually. I mean, the Suicide Squad is very well directed. I just think some of the humor is a little childish for me, but there's another director out there that I would love to see just be given just a little bit, a little bit in this day and age, considering. But then the naysayers, but he had 3 chances. Okay.
But did he? Did he?
I can hope. One can hope. All right. Not a lot to talk about with that, but it just came out. Who knows if it'll ever happen? I know that there's so many projects that get like floated out there, and then we're hearing now that the Wonder Twins series may be canceled, and it just got announced. So
yeah,
I don't know. You never know these things.
Well, and that kind of gives me hope that maybe the Discovery thing is going to play some sort of hand in riding the ship, maybe, because I mean, Wonder Twins, like the guy can't turn into anything that doesn't involve water. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't even know how you make that work. Like it just doesn't. I mean, the girl, she can turn into animals. That's freaking awesome. But he's got to turn into an ice unicycle for her to ride around on or something. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make a movie out of that.
I don't know either, but more power to them. If they want to invest money in a lot of these characters that people don't know or people don't care about, maybe some of them will hit, but I just feel like good luck.
And maybe
good
there's
luck.
some, and maybe there's some nostalgia with the Wonder Twins thing if they decide to pursue it. But you're talking about a dying breed of DC Super Friends, the TV show. You know what I mean? That show was a long time ago. There's not as many fans now as there were. I know Dave was talking about that Gleek. Gleek is cool too, Alan. Yeah, he is, Dave. But Gleek can't carry the movie. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. That monkey can't carry the whole movie by itself. Let's do a Gleek cartoon. That's fine. Let's just do that. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it shapes out. But okay. That's enough, DC. That is enough. Let's get out of there because it depresses me. It used to excite me.
Hallelujah.
Speaking of something that excites me, on the Marvel side, they showed 15 minutes of Spider-Man Across the SpiderVerse at CinemaCon, and also was revealed that they're not labeling it Part 1 and Part 2 anymore. Its first one will be called Across the Spider-Verse, and the second one will be Beyond the Spider-Verse. But the sad thing is that the release date got pushed. Now that came out, I think, a week prior, possibly before CinemaCon. So now the first entry is going to be in June of 2023, which is sad because it was coming out this year originally. But they always say this, and I agree. It's like release dates are never remembered. They get pushed, and it's still for a good reason, and the movie's still great. Then that's all that matters, and that's kind of where I stand.
Unless you're Morbius, and then everybody remembers.
Well, that's why I said, and it's a good movie. That is why, and I haven't seen Morbius, so I can't really speak.
Yeah,
as an authority on it. But
you're right. I shouldn't be panning on that movie.
Yeah, I love the first Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, me
One
too.
of my favorite Spider-Man movies, maybe my favorite. I don't know. But yeah, I'm stoked about this one, and excited to see Oscar Isaac in that role, and Because I love Oscar Isaac. I don't watch him in anything. That's why I'm watching Moon Knight. Just for him. So, yeah, they showed 15 minutes. And once again, pretty positive. But, yeah, the bummer of it all is that it's going to be pushed. So, but they did say that there's like 250 or 240 characters or something that are going to be in this movie between the multiverses that they go through. So lots and lots of Easter eggs. I'm sure. I mean, the first movie had so much just in there everywhere.
Dave's got a good question. Who's everybody's fave Spider-Man?
Like Spider-Man character, like portrayal. Is that what he's asking? Maybe.
I'm not sure. I think so. I think that's what we're going with.
We could do both. My favorite Spider-Man. It's really hard for me. I always like the Tobey Spider-Man has always been my favorite just because that was the one that I kind of grew up watching. And I have a lot of like, I went on it's funny enough. The first date I went on with my now wife, I went to see Spider-Man, and that was today, 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that one is pretty important to me for personal reasons.
Nice.
I think I love Tobey's. I think Tobey's Spider-Man is better than his Peter. I don't know. I don't know about that. The opposite. I think Tobey's Peter is better than his Spider-Man.
Yes.
But he's too old for the part. I think Andrew's Spider-Man is better than his Peter because Peter's too cool.
Yeah. I agree.
But his Spider-Man is great. And I think Tom Holland has the best of both worlds.
I think so too. I would almost, I don't have anything to say because you literally said everything that I was going to say. And my opinion, Dave, Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man, pure Spider-Man, in my opinion.
I think I would agree with that.
But Tom is the best of both worlds, and Tobey is the best Peter.
Yeah, and then but I love the Miles Morales in the SpiderVerse version. I loved Schlubby Peter. I mean, I loved all those takes. Chris Pine Spider-Man. I thought they were all great. Well, I can't say that. I cried during a lot of cartoons, but when that Peter Parker, when that Spider-Man, when that junk got me, dude. That junk rocked me. I was all sorts of like Cal's looking at me like, Daddy, are you okay? I'm like shoulder shaking. Like crying watching that happen. But it was I love that movie. That's like you were talking about, like background cleaning the house movie. Into the Spider-Verse is definitely up there for me. Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. And then just real quick, they did announce that another Venom movie was in the works, as well as a Ghostbusters sequel to Afterlife. I know that you were really high on Afterlife. I haven't seen it yet. I would like to see it. I just haven't got around to it yet. Venom, after that last one, man, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do on the Sony side. It seemed like they're obviously, it seems like they're trying to tee up that Sinister Six project. It also seemed like they were going to fold Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man possibly in there somehow. And after seeing the last two entries, as far as, well, not seeing, but seeing how Morbius did, how it was reviewed, and then seeing Let There Be Carnage and Venom, the first one, I'm like, if I was Andrew Garfield, I really wouldn't want to be involved in these projects, given the types of output, the quality of output as of late. I guess it just depends on the creative that's going to be involved. But you know, the thing is Venom's, it makes money, so they're gonna keep making the movies. And that's all that matters, really, to the studio. So
yeah, and to me, I like.
it's a shame because Andy's. And sorry to cut you off, Alan.
No, you're
I
good.
was like, really excited about the second one, even though I wasn't like super high on the first one. I love Andy Serkis. I was excited to see him directing this one,
Mhm.
but it just felt like the studio just butchered it, and I
Yeah,
have to believe that there was a better movie that was, and also
I think
it
so.
was kind of rushed. It was fast tracked,
Yeah,
and
and there were some good parts to that movie, so that makes me feel like you were saying. It makes me feel like that there's a good movie in there somewhere. If it
yeah,
wasn't chopped up and just paced like a sprint and not a marathon. You know what I mean? Like this thing was, wow, that was a fast movie. You know what I mean? Like that was like,
yeah.
as far as a 10-year-old with ADHD like Cal, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah,
Like he
I
enjoyed the
know.
heck out of it, but
And
I just
that whole mentality of movie making kind of scares me
yeah,
with the TikTok generation of doing, you know, it's like having things just be so fast paced and so direct and just I don't know. People don't have patience anymore.
yeah.
Um so I don't know. It's unfortunate. But anyway, so those are coming out or in development, not necessarily coming out. So we'll see how that progresses. But
Anytime you're wanting to watch Ghostbusters Afterlife, Cal has said that he would be glad to sit down and show you and Luna how things go and
yes.
let you watch the movie.
Yeah, well, I got to watch the first two with her first. So once we do that, then I'll let you know. We can definitely
Do
do
a
that.
family watch or something. There we go.
Yep, I'm down. Well, one last Marvel thing that popped up a few days ago, which is kind of unfortunate. John Watts has exited directing that Fantastic Four reboot, the MCU version. And I included this artwork because that's just kind of what everybody's kind of fan casted with
Yeah.
Krasinski and Emily Blunt in those
Yeah, that is
roles.
a jacked up. That's a jacked up gym there.
Yeah. Now I did see, I think it was Chris Killian say today he had done an interview with John Krasinski during A Quiet Place 2 press junket, seemingly hinting that maybe Krasinski could step into this directing role because he's doing another A Quiet Place 3. I believe he's directing it. I don't think he's handing that. I can't remember. There's two projects. There's the prequel, and then there's the sequel, and I can't remember if Krasinski's directing the third one. I know he's not doing the prequel, but anyway, I could see him doing this if they wanted to play into the release of Trinket. For real, I would love to see that.
I would too.
Man, we talked about this a
Okay.
few weeks ago, but I was so excited. Even that first trailer that came out, I was like, yes. I love this tone.
Yep. I love Chronicle. I freaking love that movie, dude. It gets better every time I watch it. You know, and then I watch Fantastic Four, and I just, I don't know what that was that I watched. You know,
well, that's another one of those projects that, like, I would love to hear the story of what actually went down with that.
Yes,
because it seems like Simon Kinberg came in and just completely reshot most of the movie.
Yeah,
I've only seen it once, but apparently you can see a lot of kind of continuity and consistencies with hair and different things.
Yeah,
and it's just
I own it.
Do you?
Yeah. It was given to me, so I didn't actually pay money for it.
I thought it started strong. The beginning of the movies.
I like the concept of Reed Richards and growing up from nothing and trying to become that whole thing spoke to me. I mean, as an American, it speaks to you. Trying to make your name for yourself. It seemed really cool, and it just like it was kind of like Venom, the pacing. There just wasn't enough time to tell that story that they were wanting to tell, and it just, I don't know, it just, wow.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was a hodgepodge of a movie, and when you hear some of the stories with Trank and
James is on the same boat. First 45 minutes. There you go.
Yeah, it's true. I would also like to see Trank doing some. I didn't see the Capone movie. But I would like to see him kind of make another Chronicle level, not necessarily a superhero movie, but something to that caliber. Like he hit it so strong with Chronicle, his first feature, and then maybe was kind of, he maybe flew too close to the sun, as they say. I think he got a little in over his head because he was supposed to do a Boba Fett movie as well, right after Fantastic Four, and then Disney was like, "Oh, nope, not doing that now." So, yeah. So anyway, but yeah, John Watts isn't doing that. That's a shame. John Watts did, the last 3 Spider-Man movies,
and I thought he did a great job with those. I thought they were really, each one of them. I know that Far From Home wasn't as well received, but I thought they were all. I thought all 3 of them were really fun movies. Like and I mean, I am kind of partial because I met the guy and he, we shot some scenes and he hung out with us for a little bit. So there's some of that there, but he's really cool. Like I'm sure, and I enjoyed it.
I'm sure that I don't know the reasons behind it, but you've got to think that maybe he just wants to do something smaller. And I think he did announce what he's doing, and it seemed like it wasn't as big of a project as this big IP superhero movie.
Yeah, the big budget Burnout.
Yeah. He's done 3 of them back to back, and they don't get bigger.
That's basically the only thing. That's the only thing he's directed for like the past 7 years, I think.
He did that movie Cop Car, with Kevin Bacon that I still haven't gotten around to see it, but I always heard really good things about it.
And I know he did. What was it? Was it a Clown? Was it Clown or Nose or something like that? It was like a horror movie. It's a really trippy. I watched bits and pieces of it. I haven't sat through the whole thing, but it's one of those movies I can't watch. Mandy doesn't like them. Can't watch it with the kids around. Kind of horror movie thing. It's like a dad puts on the clown nose and dresses up for his kid's birthday party, and the nose like attaches itself and it changes his personality or whatever. It's a weird kind of vibe, but it worked. It was a different kind of, I don't know, low budget horror movie.
Yeah.
I saw that before Homecoming, because we had got invited to come film, and so I started looking up this guy's career, and I watched that movie, and I was like, wow, this guy, like Marvel picked this guy to direct a movie. Like I was like, hey, this could be pretty trippy. And now, Dave said he saw it. It was weird.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for the Marvel side of things. We got one little thing that came out. We would have covered this last week, but we weren't here. So, and that is some Obi-Wan Kenobi stills were released. Some Tatooine shots. This kind of metropolis type planet. I think it's called Dayu. It reminds me, I don't know if you ever saw that. There was was it a game or a show? I think it was a show that it was a show that they filmed a pilot for. I think it was like Star Wars, some sort of underground show that reminded me a lot of this city. Kind of like a Blade Runner-ish type city.
I was fixing to say, it gave me the Blade Runner vibes. So
and then another Inquisitor look. So, I'm excited for this show. It's good to see a non-Tatooine location in these stills, because we've been there. We've been in that deserty planet so much with these Disney Plus shows that I'm
Yeah.
glad that they're kind of I mean, not that they do go to different planets here and there, but for the most part, it's like a lot of Tatooine-ish stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see
Me too.
this, and it's not too far away. It's this month, right? May 27th.
27th. Yep.
First episode. 2 episodes.
That and Stranger Things. Ooh. It's gonna be a busy weekend.
I'm telling you. Something else is I know, was there another thing that weekend? Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the 4th of July weekend that the second part of Stranger Things drops.
Part, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's great though. I mean, I love the format of being able to have these shows, and I also am a little like weary of it because I feel like Star Wars, because all of the Star Wars stuff we've gotten lately has been on Disney Plus. I feel like it's made it disposable. And I don't want Star Wars to be disposable. It doesn't feel much must watch.
Mm-hmm.
At least, Book of Boba Fett didn't feel like that. And I don't know. I want that that specialness to remain with Star Wars, regardless of how people feel about, the sequel trilogies or some of the other. I have loved that Star Wars has always been an event-based property. Like, it's not something you just like, oh, we got a Boba Fett episode today, and you turn it on and it's there. And it's like, stuff it in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want it to be special. And
yeah, Dave had a Star Wars and Zack Snyder question. And it was, Dave. Yep. Rebel Moon was a pitch for his own Zack Snyder's own Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So, and I'd love to think of it as George Lucas when he pitched Star Wars. People weren't ready for it, so he, kind of did it on his own. So I hope this is Zack's Star Wars. I hope anyway.
Yeah. As do I. I mean, I'm more excited about that than anything they're doing in Star Wars, but that's just me. I'm obviously biased when it comes to Snyder stuff, for better or for worse.
He owns a piece of our heart, for sure.
Yeah. So, Alan, are you a Dungeons and Dragons player?
No. I shop at a store where a bunch of those guys hang out at, but I am not one of them. But I am familiar with the concept and all that good jazz.
Well, then neither of us are going to be very knowledgeable about this, but they did announce the name of the Dungeons and Dragons movie, Honor Among Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
David, my bass player, loves Dungeons and Dragons. You know David.
Yes, I do.
They have and I think Britt also is into this, but I believe, I can't be positive. Maybe it's just Magic the Gathering he's into. I get them confused.
I think I could get into it. I just haven't. Like, none of my friends have ever sat down and I've never sat down and played with anybody. Like David, David and I have never done that. David and I have done a lot of things together, but playing Dungeons and Dragons, that wasn't one of them. So I don't know.
Well, it's one of those things that can go on for a very long time.
Yeah, and that's I mean, just from Stranger Things alone, which is really one of my only gauges. Like their short campaigns are 10 hours long. You know what I mean? I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, I see. Joe Manganiello is into this a lot, and he has like celebrity D&D gatherings with a bunch of celebrity nerds. I've seen him post pictures of like think one of the, is it Benioff or Weiss or whatever from Game of Thrones, one of the showrunners, and I think Vince Vaughn was at one of his D&D things.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I didn't know this was a movie. I knew that they were making something. I thought it was a Netflix series, but it seems like it's a movie. So, that's cool if you're into that. I'm not. It's not something that I could not be into as far as the movie. I could be into the movie. I just haven't played the game. So, definitely the high fantasy type stuff is within my realm of sensibilities. So, and speaking of high fantasy, the last little thing of news that we have right here, Lord of the Rings is reportedly each episode is more than 50 million budget. Wow, which is great. I mean, we saw from the trailer that it didn't seem like they're skimping budget wise, to me at least, and that's good to see and good to hear. I hope that whatever the story is makes it worth it, because it's one of those things where I don't know what they're adapting necessarily in terms of the story. I know I've read bits and pieces, and it's just one of those things where I'm really excited about the possibility. I just hope they don't kind of crap the bed with it. Hope they don't pull an Amber. Amber alert. So
that's what I was going to say. Bezos is not building a spaceship so that he can make this show. So I mean, this has got to be pretty good. That's the way it's got to work.
Yeah, visually though, it looks good. I just hope the story is there. I hope it's good, because I love some Lord of the Rings. So
Amber alert. LOL.
Yeah,
that's good. We gotta catchphrase that. That's ours. We came up with that. Not missing children, but Amber.
TM. All right. No trailers this week. There was a DC League of Super Pets trailer that dropped today that I saw, but we've talked about that enough. I'm just ready to see it. It looks fun. Trailer is the trailer, and it looks like something that's right up my alley when it comes to animated. And then you mix the superhero stuff in. It's just a prime recipe for a good family night at the movies for me. So I'm excited to see it. I don't need to see anything else. So yeah. Let's get to some watches of the week, shall we, Alan?
Yeah.
How's your week been with the watches? Last 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I've watched a pretty good bit. Still catching up on Young Justice. Phantoms, it kind of hit a lull for me where there wasn't a whole lot of action. I don't know if anybody in the chat has been watching it, but spoiler alert. Connor Kent, Superboy had died, I guess you'd say, or so we had thought. So everybody was kind of mourning his death, and there was nothing really going on. And now they've introduced Zod into it, and Vandal Savages came back in. So it's really kind of picked up the last 3 or 4 episodes. So it's gotten back fun again. So I had kind of lost Cal. I was watching it on my own. So he wasn't having it, but here recently he's jumped back in with some of the new additions to the show. Like I said, Zod and the Phantom Zone have came into play. So it's been pretty fun.
Pretty good time.
And pretty good. And of course we've all been Stranger Things, doing a rewatch on that. Mandy and I are
getting prepped for the new season, eh?
Yes, I'm trying to get to that point. I told Brandon and I had been texting, and we had talked about I was going to do this with Cal. I was like, Cal's 10; he's old enough to watch this. And then what was it? I texted you about it. I think it was the second episode. Will goes missing. the lights start flickering on and off, and the telephone. I mean, you couldn't have planned this better. If this were scripted, it couldn't have been any better. Like we're sitting there watching it, and Joyce Byers, Winona Ryder, she picks up the phone, and it's Will, like in the upside down, and it zaps the phone, and within minutes of that happening, we lose power. And that killed it. Cal does not want to watch the show anymore. Like he took that as an omen, and that show is done. Like he can never watch it again. So Mandy and I are watching it on our own now. But it was like Cal is, he's weird about the movies that he watches. To begin with, it's really got to be a story that appeals to him and that'll hold him. E.T. When ET turns and like goes white dog turd and like looks dead, Cal got up and cut the movie off. Like he grabbed the Apple TV remote and said, "Boop, nope," and that was it. Like we didn't even finish. Cal has never finished ET. Like that hit him. I could see his eyes turning. His eyes were puddling up, and he just said, "Screw that! I'm not watching it anymore." So like Cal's an emotional kid when it comes. He gets so invested. So when that happened, that was it. Like the show's over. Mandy and I are continuing to watching it, and God, we love it. Like it's such a good show. I know you and I have talked about it a few times, and I'm so invested in these characters, and I love these kids, and it's just, man, there's so many like tear up moments while you're watching it. You know, like even now, having seen it twice over, it still hits you in the feels. So it's one of the best rewatches I've had. Like, and I've watched all the Netflix Marvel stuff, and I loved all that. But this is like on a different level.
For me. Yeah, it's great. It's one of my favorite series in a while. I wish I had time to rewatch all of it. I want to rewatch season 3 before season 4. There's just so much out there, and I think James even mentioned finishing Ozark before Stranger Things, and that's another, like, Ozark season 4 part 2 just dropped this past weekend. I want to finish that. We've got, it's just my list.
Barry just came back up season 3 on HBO Max, and I love that show. So that one's kind of jumped in there as well. So I mean, I got a lot of stuff going on, but and then I did do a rewatch of Man of Steel. Just kind of that was within the past 2 weeks. I know that everybody was kind of posting the screenshot of the HBO Max tagline that they had. Superman, directed by Zack Snyder. Yes, please. I was like, I had to go see if it was there, and then I had to watch it once I got there. So that was what I did.
Dave was actually talking about not Cape related, but the Lakers show, Winning Time.
I have not got around to that one yet.
I know Ryan's watching it, or he was.
And I do love me some John C. Reilly, so it's on my list. And I am a sports. So I got really little there, but I am a John C. Reilly fan, and I do like a good sports movie / TV show. So it's on my list. It's just like we were talking about. There's just so much stuff. I don't know if I have enough time.
I know, right? As far as, well, and then you were kind of hinting at this. We've both been watching Moon Knight. We're actually we're running behind on recording. We still haven't recorded our episode 5 review. I'm gonna try and knock that out after this stream. Stay tuned to get our thoughts on that. We won't divulge anymore when it comes to Moon Knight. So check the review out. Hopefully it'll post tomorrow when the finale posts. So we're really good about timing over here on the CapeCast front. But one thing I did keep watching actually was I watched a few more episodes of Halo.
Nice.
And I gotta say, I'm enjoying the show. I don't know if it's like the main story with Chief and Cortana. I'm enjoying the side character stuff, not so much, but I am interested to see where it goes. And I feel like for the most part, the budget is pretty decent. It reminds me a lot. Like I talked about watching Foundation on Apple TV Plus, which also had a good budget, but I just couldn't. It had a better budget, honestly, than this did. But I couldn't track with the story. It just wasn't grabbing me. I just jumped all over the place. Couldn't really figure out who else was to latch on to. Too many characters, not enough interesting storylines. But this, the Chief stuff, even though I don't really care for seeing him outside of his helmet as much as they have him, I am enjoying the story. So if you do have Paramount Plus, I would recommend it. If you're familiar with
watched the
Halo.
first one, so
yeah, it's pretty good. It's I wouldn't say it's like highbrow and it's great or appointment viewing, but if you've ever played Halo and you're familiar with those games or have played the campaigns, even just the multiplayer, it's been a fun watch.
So how many episodes are there gonna be? Do you know?
I want to say it's like 9 or so. I haven't looked to see, but I think
because
it's
I may
9 or 10 episode run.
I plan on watching it. My plan is to wait until it's over and then do my 7-day trial and binge it. So that's what I'm gonna do.
So my problem now is that as of today, my month ended. You know what's crazy? Listen to this. I paid for a month, and then I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel it so I don't forget. Because I paid for a month just to watch Jackass.
Gotcha.
And then while I was like, I'll check out Halo. Might as well. Got it for a month. So I did. But anyway, I canceled the subscription so it wouldn't auto-renew. And then they're like, hey, don't do that. We want you to stay. Here's another month. I was like, oh, that's cool. Cancel. Because I didn't want it to auto-renew. I figured they would still give me the free month on top, and they didn't. They took it back. So now I got to pay for another month if I want to finish this show.
Yeah. So Dave was wanting to know if you have to play the game, if you have to have played the game in order to understand the show.
You won't have to play it to understand it. Your appreciation will definitely be improved, I think, because watching the show, like the character designs, the enemy like the world. I mean, it feels like Halo. They did a really great job making a live action version of this. But no, I mean, as far as the story, you can track along with it easy. But like I said, I don't know. I can't say for someone that doesn't have a fondness for the property if you'll enjoy it as much, because I just can't separate myself.
That was kind of a double. I was asking for Dave, but also for myself because I haven't played the games either. So thanks for asking the question, Dave, and helping me out there.
And then lastly, we actually had some time to continue our MCU watch with my daughter and my nephew. And we're now on Captain America, the First Avenger. We just watched this on Friday, I believe. And man, I haven't seen this in a while, and I didn't own this one. So I bought it a few weeks ago in preparation. And I didn't own it I didn't have a good reason for not owning it. I just had never bought it. And this was a good rewatch. I think I remember liking it when I saw it in theaters. I saw it with Britt actually in theaters in St. Simons before I had kids, when I used to see movies a lot in theaters. I think this movie is a lot tonally. It's one of those that kind of feels very different intentionally, but in a good way. Like I love the like Spielbergian nature of it. You've got Joe Johnston directing, who's kind of a protege of Spielberg, so that's probably why they hired him in the first place. But yeah, I love, like, I think the first act is better than 2 and 3. 3 is pretty good, but 2 kind of suffers a little bit for me in terms of pacing. It kind of gets a little drawn out with him selling, bullets and
War
guns and
bonds and
stuff.
all that. Yeah. Yeah.
And then when he finally kicks into gear and becomes Captain America, it's all montage. That's a little lackluster. But Skinny Steve is I adore that section of the movie. It's so good.
I do too.
And it's minus a few like instances where it's kind of wonky looking with the face replacement stuff that they do. For the most part, it still holds up pretty well.
It really does.
But yeah, and we talked about this not too long ago with the whole every time I see Steve jumping on the grenade, it's like, oh man, that's so perfect. That's like the perfect scene.
That was more Captain America than almost anything else he did. Like, I mean, that was it. And I know I've said it. I think I've said it before on here on the show. The Captain America movies are my top 5. Like, all 3 of them are in my top 5 of the Marvel movies, period. So I love the first Avenger. That's by far one of the best of Phase 1 for me.
Yeah, it was really good. And Hugo weaving his Red Skull's really good. Apparently he didn't have the best time making that movie. He didn't really like doing prosthetics as long as he had to, which is why he didn't come back for Endgame. Is it Infinity War? I forget.
It was Infinity Wars when it came. Well, they brought Red Skull back. Yeah. And it was the guy from, what was his name from The Walking Dead? The guy with
Aaron.
Aaron. Yeah, he's apparently like a master at impersonations.
Voiceovers. Yeah, I've seen some of his.
I thought that was awesome that they used him. I just thought that was like the funniest thing. I was like, this guy's done so many YouTube videos just making fun of actors, doing their voices, and then there they go, they just use him. Like, yes, good stuff.
Yeah. So we watched this now. Avengers, the first one is up, and that's gonna be fun.
Nice.
Because they have at the end of this one, they essentially had the first trailer for Avengers, and so we watched that. They were like, "Oh man!" So it's good. It's I'm kind of reliving that like build up to this movie. I told Luna, I was like, when Avengers came out, Mom and I had to go to the theater 2 hours before the theater opened to get in line, because we didn't have reserved seating back then. So we had to go and get in line just to get a good seat, because it was all just like pick your, get in there and find a seat kind of thing. And that was like, I just remembered like, man, I don't know, like how
that was us. I don't, it's weird to think back and remember a time when I had to go. Like, I remember that. I remember BVS being in line to go see it, and Man of Steel the same way.
Right.
But it's something that we don't have to worry about as much now. Like I said, I guess we have reserved seating for the Doctor Strange. So
I mean, every movie I've been to in the last couple of years has been reserved seating. So
it's wild.
It's a humble brag on my end. I only do reserved seating.
But I will say, like, I've had some of the most fun I've had was waiting in those lines, talking to people.
It is fun
about the movies.
Yeah.
It's something that I do miss, but also
it's also
being able to walk on through and 5 minutes before the movie starts, like hit people's knees on my way to my seat.
Right. I'm glad that we're past that transition point where people didn't know what reserved seating was, and there would always be somebody in your seat when you got to your seat, because they didn't know. Oh, I thought it was just like format. Because like when you used to go to a concert, you got buy a general admission ticket. It'd have a seat number, but it didn't mean anything. And so people just, I guess, ignored the fact that there were seat numbers on their movie ticket stubs. That was like without fail, at least where I'm from, where people don't know how to handle themselves in general in the movie theater.
Yeah.
it took a while for the reserve seat etiquette to come, you know.
Look at James said that mid-credit scene when Thanos, everybody started yelling Galactus. That's awesome.
Yeah. That always reminds me of Lego Batman when he's when the Joker's yelling at, like, sounding off all these, like, you know, like D-level villains.
Yeah.
And he's like, ask your nerd friends at the end, because he's naming all these characters nobody knows about. That was the Thanos reveal. All right. I know that you mentioned the comic book thing. You said you didn't have anything. Did you get any other physical media?
I know that I know. Well,
okay if you don't.
No. I know I posted some stuff on our Twitter account. I picked up Justice League issue 75, Death of the Justice League. That was pretty cool. Actually, today I did pick up some stuff at the swap meet, and I also went by and snatched up Flashpoint Beyond issue number 1. It's got a really cool cover. I'll post it on the Twitter account tomorrow, so everybody keep a lookout for that.
Nice.
I'm going to try to I'm going to show off some cool stuff occasionally on here, but I'm going to try to reserve most of my comics for the Twitter account. So you guys retweet and like all that stuff, so I'll keep it going.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that. I don't have anything. Nope. I don't. Tomorrow is May the 4th, so maybe some Star Wars stuff will drop that I may have to purchase. I know that Bottleneck and Mondo are doing some releases, but I've also got a Lord of the Rings print that seems to be incoming that's about to be on sale, so I'm trying to wait for that because I don't want to spend my money all at once. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. And then as far as movies coming out, we mentioned this earlier, but yeah, Doctor Strange is coming out this weekend. And Alan and I are going to see it Monday. So everybody be quiet online and you know, be cool. Be cool.
Don't tag us in anything. Don't tag us in anything.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks. So we will probably be pretty quiet online because going to do my best just to avoid, because I feel like a movie like this.
I mean, shame on Marvel for putting that out on Mother's Day weekend and my anniversary weekend. I mean, what the hell? You know?
How dare you? Yeah, so we will see it and we'll probably do a review, I'm sure, depending on when Ryan sees it. And I'm looking forward to it. Excited about it. I'm excited about the you know, kind of the prospect of it. I'll say that. So, but yeah, we'll move a new movie into the slot after this weekend. And what is that going to be? Black Adam? Yeah,
I think it'll be Black Adam. Holy hell! October. I can't believe we're going to get to that point. This movie's been so long coming. It'll finally make it on here.
I know.
Come on, DC, don't screw it up.
Crazy. All right. Well, I think that's about it. Alan, do you have anything else you need to add? No,
man.
Well, cool. like I said earlier, we are going to do a Moon Knight review. We'll do episode 5 because we're running behind, and then we'll get that out soon, probably in the morning at some point, I hope. And then, like I said, episode 6, the finale will drop at midnight, whatever I guess Pacific time tonight. So we'll be watching that tomorrow and hopefully get a review recorded in the next couple of days and get that out. And hopefully it's a satisfying ending. I'm interested to see where they go based on the last episode. So, but yeah, I guess before we go, let's do these socials again. You can follow us, CAPECAST on Twitter at CAPECAST Show, and then CineMachine. You can just go to CineMachinePod.com. You'll find links to every other social network that we're on: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're also on Patreon, so if you feel inclined to throw us some monies, please do so. We appreciate that. Every little bit helps. But yeah, I think that's probably it. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Share this with your friends, your family, your coworkers, the people, your enemies, everybody. Share it with everybody. We appreciate it. We need it. And I guess we'll see you next time on CAPECAST.